Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Session 2 of the 2026 USA Powerlifting Masters Nationals presented by A7 here in Lombard, Illinois. We're just outside of Chicago. We just wrapped up Session 1 and we're getting ready to start our second session. So how was, you were commentating last session, so how was that?
First session was great. The ladies were putting up great numbers. Platforms 1 and 2, no bomb out, so everybody came through with a total for the day, and there were a few different American records set.
Gotta love to see that. And just a breakdown of what we are seeing these 2 days. So our first 2 days are going to be all masters lifters. So that is all lifters aged 40 and above. Our first session today featured our women's division. And this afternoon, we are featuring all of our men's. More to come tomorrow, but this session will be all men, platforms 1 and 2. We see that our bars are now loaded for our lifters who are coming out to take their opening attempt for squat. So if you see on platform 1, our lifter, Harmesh, kind of hit a bit of a pause squat, pause at the bottom of the hole, and was waiting to get an up command. However, in powerlifting, there is no such thing as an up command. You just squat down and come back up. He fortunately had a successful lift there, 3 white lights. Just one kind of thing to note about why you saw him pause in the squat there. Sometimes it can get a little bit confusing with the commands.
Yep. Yeah, and with the squat, just those 2 commands, your start and your rack. So,
Yeah, so our lifters are going to set up underneath that bar, get that bar nice and tight in their back. They will walk out the lift, stand fully upright with their knees locked. They will then receive a squat command from our chief referee, who's standing right in front of them. They will squat down, as we see here, platforms 1 and 2. Daniel and Robert squatting down. Beautiful opening attempts there. They will hold it once more in that fully upright position, and they'll receive that final rack command from our referees, and then that'll be a good lift. 3 white lights on both 1 and 2. And so, Jenna, talk to me a little bit about what the atmosphere is like here at Nationals. I mean, we are sitting in the media booth. We aren't really right in front of the platforms, but just hearing either the audience or the noise, what's it like in here?
It's great because most of the times you're coming from your smaller local meets and even some smaller regional and state meets, and you don't have this amount of crowd. You've got 4 platforms going, just a lot of it's atmosphere, just noise, cheering. It just hypes you up.
Yeah, I think the 4 platform aspect just kind of adds to it, knowing that there's 1 platform going, right? You have 3 referees there, over 5 spotters and loaders that are kind of working on that bar, all the table workers in the back, but then multiply that by 4, right? That just goes into how many staff are here working today, how many people are just present at this event. It really is a very high logistically dense event.
Yes.
We have that beautiful A7 Team USA singlet on platform 2 by Mark Davis.
Those are great singlets.
Yeah. It was just released this year in preparation for a lot of the upcoming World Championships. Just a quick shout out for Platform 1, Brian Strew. I'm from Illinois, and Brian Strew is also a fellow lifter of Illinois. Also a referee as well who's competing today. Very nice squat by Manuel on platform 2. Ladies and gentlemen, and if you're watching the live stream and want to see a little bit more of the scoring, the live action as far as the results, be sure to go to www.liftingcast.com/meets, and you'll click on 2026 USA Powerlifting Masters Nationals Day 1. Again, that is liftingcast.com and then /meets, and you'll click on 2026 USA Powerlifting Masters Nationals Day 1, and you'll be able to see exactly what we see here in the back as far as the live scoring and see all the numbers that our lifters are hitting. And Jenna, have you ever competed at a national event before?
I have. Last year was my first one.
Yeah, over at Atlanta, was it? Yeah, how was that?
Oh, it was great. I was there on the last day, so even on the last day, great atmosphere. And we were combined masters with open classes, so.
Yeah, and I think that brings up a good point how the format is this year. So this Nationals is a stretch of 5 days. So we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the 2 days of Masters Nationals and then 3 days of Raw Nationals, which is a bit different than how it always has been, where it just progresses by weight class. Normally, the lighter lifters in the beginning combined with all the age divisions. However, this time around, we have a dedicated Masters Nationals highlighting all of our Masters lifters. So, personally, what do you think about the new format?
I like it. I like giving Masters their kind of own space to do it, and the Masters lifters showed up. I heard it was 100 and some Masters at last year's Nationals, and this year there was over 400 that registered. So, big increase.
Yeah, this is probably one of the bigger national events that USA Powerlifting has hosted. I think Raw Nationals is about 1,000 lifters, just under that, and then Masters was about 400. So that is quite the number.
Yeah. And then as you get with the Masters lifters, especially when you get up into your Masters 3, Masters 4, I love the spotlight. It shows it's never too late to start, because a lot of your Masters lifters have just gotten into it or only been competing a couple years. And you do have some that have been doing it a long time, but it's great seeing that it's never too late to start.
Absolutely. And if you saw our referee get into frame on platform 1, our lifter received a replace command, which is not any of the 2 commands for the lift, but actually indicates the lifter that he had to re-rack the bar due to him not being in the proper starting position. And so our referee came over to the lifter, told him that he needed to lock his knees out, and then can proceed to reattempt in getting that squat command. He was able to get that squat, and Roland was successful in that opening squat attempt. So good way in adjusting for him. With it being the first lift of your entire day, squat is definitely probably the most nerve-wracking lift, at least for me personally.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it looks like so far everyone's doing really good with their weight selections. You want that opener to be where you can do it a couple reps.
Yeah.
So you want it easy. Even on your worst day, you can rep it a few times, and so if you're stepping on the platform, you can still do it.
Yeah, oftentimes many coaches like the rule of thumb that your opener should be something you can reasonably triple on any given day. That should be kind of a nice gauge for what the opener attempt should be. So if you are kind of thinking of what that weight might be for you, it should be pretty easy. Again, lifters have 3 attempts in each discipline: squat, bench press, and deadlift, in that order, to achieve a maximum 1 rep attempt. So our lifters are going to start off really easy, opening attempt, second attempt quite a little bit heavier, and then that third attempt should be around or at or even above their current max. We do have a missed lift over on platform 2. Chris did receive 2 infractions. He did receive a red card, which is depth, believing that the lifter did not squat low enough, and a blue card for failure to lock out his knees at the beginning or at the end of the squat. We're down to our last lifter of our opening attempts on both platforms. Jeff over on Platform 2 just recently competed at the Arnold Sports Festival in March in Columbus, Ohio. Again, we have a replace command on Platform 1. Our chief referee is indicating that Monte does not have his knees locked out, so he'll have one more attempt to unrack that bar and get his knees locked. Gets that squat command. Two to one. Let's see if Harmesh can make that adjustment here in Platform 1 and not pause there at the bottom. There it comes down, comes straight back up, and looked easy. Very good attempt. Smooth squat Platform 1 for Daniel. We got Robert coming up now, Platform 2, 152.5 kilos. Very fast squat. And so when it comes to attempt selection, every single lifter is going to have their different strategy as far as how many kilos you're going to jump from attempt to attempt. Everyone's different. Some people like to open up fairly close to their 1 rep max or take smaller jumps just to kind of feel the weight a little bit better. Other people may want to open very light and conserve energy and take those bigger but maybe albeit riskier jumps. So Jenna, for you personally, what type of lifter are you? Do you take reasonably bigger jumps, smaller jumps, or kind of in between?
I'm kind of an in-between lifter. You know, I like getting that little lighter opener, get that confidence, get the nerves out, and then, you know, kind of assess from there.
Mm-hmm. I think everyone's going to have, and if you talk to any power lifter, they're all, and you ask them a question, it's always going to be, it depends, right? It's always going to be whatever the lifter prefers, a preference. There's never going to be a one-size-fits-all sort of answer, especially in powerlifting where you have so many different weight classes, so many different ways in which people are built in their bodies, and just overall, I mean, divisions here in the Masters, right? I mean, we have youth lifting as well later on, and then we have teens, juniors, open, Masters. I mean, everyone's going to be different.
And you never know how the weight's going to move from the warm-up room to the platform. I've had warm-ups that just felt like the heaviest thing ever. The minute I stepped on the platform, it moved. It's like, where was that in the warm-up room?
Yeah, and then that's one important thing to note as well when you think about a national level event. Nationals is in one place, but all these lifters are coming from all across the country. We have lifters coming from Alaska, from Florida, California, New York, right? From all over the states, and they're all meeting here. So whether the travel was easy for them depends entirely on where they're coming from, if they had access to food, their nutrition, their schedule, sleep schedule, plane. I mean, so many different factors go into their performance. If lifters are managing a weight cut on top of that, I mean, there's just so many variables that either a lifter can or can't control that factor into how they're feeling today. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you go into a meet thinking that you're going to hit an all-time best, comparing how you felt on your best day in the gym versus maybe on meet day.
Yeah.
A bit shaky on platform 1, that second attempt squat, but looks to be a good lift. Oh, unfortunately, no, there was some downward motion, I believe. Again, Roland had a replace command on his opening attempt due to not having his knees locked. Again, he gets that second replace command. Our chief referee indicating to him that he needs to lock out his knees further in order to receive the squat command. Jenna, have you ever dealt with anything like that?
No, not really. It's one of those things I always think about when I get up there. You know.
I think kind of the mental, the cue to lock your knees, whether it be in your squat or locking those elbows in the bench, right? Just training with both of them locked is gonna suit you best on the platform.
Yeah, definitely one of those things you want to practice in training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last thing you want to do is try something new, or hope it's just there on meet day for something that you didn't practice or anticipate for. Finishing up the bar, getting loaded to platform 1. Bar is now ready for Reginald. Pretty sizable jump on platform 2, 15 kilos for Paul. Whereas we got a 5 kilo jump on platform 1 for Reginald. Again, each lifter and each coach is going to have the different strategy for attempt selection. Both were a bit of work, but it appears to be good lifts on both. Yep, that is 3 white lights.
Chris coming in and deciding to go up after his missed first squat.
Ooh, a 2-to-1 no lift here on platform 2. So Jenna, let's talk about this a little bit. So Chris Bala on his opening attempt got a no lift, and it appears that it was on Q technicality. So his knees not being locked and depth. so not squatting low enough. And he got the same call here on his second attempt. But what did you notice about the attempt selection between squat 1 and squat 2?
Well, it's interesting that he decided to go up and instead of just making sure that he was hitting depth at that original attempt. Sometimes that works. Sometimes you just need a little more weight on the bar to get you down. That may have been his thinking as well.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where you have that conversation in the back with your coach, wondering if you're able to kind of sink it deeper or make that adjustment. But it appears that he's kind of sitting on the edge now, and so he's in a very tough predicament now because rolling into the third attempt, once we circle back to that, he's in a position where he needs to make his third attempt in order to just stay in the meet, in order to place. So for a meet like Nationals, I mean, the stakes are high. Well, that's a shaky squat on platform 2. Oh, and no lift on depth. Good lift on platform 3.
On 2, we've got Jeff now going into the same situation as Chris was. Missed his first attempt, and he's elected to go up and wait for his second.
Again, an opportunity to secure a few more kilos that you might have missed from missing that opening attempt, but like we talked, can be a risk if you miss it that second time. Let's see what our referees call that lift. That is 3 white lights. Good lift. I like to view it as if you go up after missing an opening attempt and you hit it on the second, it kind of overrides that opening attempt. It's almost like it never even happened.
Yep.
And you'll see some lifters opting between using knee sleeves, like we see here on platform 1, versus opting out of it. Knee sleeves are intended to be a compression, neoprene compression around the knee, kind of adding that extra layer of warmth, keeping those knee joints healthy, and getting a little bit of rebound out of the bar. So just again, a different lifting style for certain lifters. Some lifters just don't like them or don't want to deal with having to take them on and put them off. So all the props to them. 3 white lights at their platform 2. Brian Shrew, platform 1, 110 kilos, taking consistent 5 kilo jumps. Well done there for Brian. Let's see what the referees say. And 2-1, good lift. Very fast there for platform 2, Robert Granko. Good recovery, platform 1, 112.5 kilos, 3 white lights. Mr. Sayu Lin, platform 1, looking to retake 125 kilos after missing it on his second attempt. Meanwhile, Anthony Elmore, 165, taking a 7.5 kilo jump. These are third attempts, the heaviest squats these men will hit today. Looks to be a good lift on 2. What a confidence booster it is to hit 3 for 3 on squats going into the bench.
I wouldn't know. I haven't hit that yet.
Not yet?
Nope.
How many meets have you done, Jenna?
When I compete tomorrow, will be my 4th meet.
Nice.
That last squat always seems to get me.
Mm-hmm. And as we move toward looking more, once we finish out benches, we'll see how important or how critical it is for lifters to make attempts when it comes to placement and when it comes to actually medaling for some of these divisions that are seemingly competitive. Mark Davis, platform 2, 180 kilos, rocking that A7 Team USA singlet. Unfortunately, a no lift, 2-1. Roland doesn't get a replace command this time around, but unfortunately, that weight would just be a little bit too much for him on the day.
Shout out to the spotters and loaders for catching that. You also notice today, you'll see our spot and loading crews wearing pink shirts. That is in honor of Greg Page, who unfortunately passed away way too soon. Important member in the powerlifting community.
We held a memorial for him in between sessions, celebrating his life, and we had a few of his family members here celebrating among with all the entire powerlifting community. So. We got Manny Prieto here, platform 2, rocking another one of the A7 USA colorways, red, white, and blue. Nice lift for Manny, platform 2. That's 3 white lights. He's excited for that.
That is 3 white lights for Reggie. Here comes Garlett's coaching by Time Predator Performance. Coach Garcia. Come on down.
I'm considering getting that new colorway of A7 that they just dropped.
That
It looks really cool.
Yeah, I saw that out on the table, and I was like, oh, that is really nice. They've been coming out with some great colorways recently.
Fortunately, no lift for Paul there. Great catch by our spotters. Meanwhile, a celebratory lift here for Bradford Olson. Platform 1, referees say 2-1. Good lift. We're just about rounding out our third attempt squats for our first flight on platform 1. Meanwhile, we got about 5 squats left on platform 2. Just under 400 pounds for our Masters 3 lifter in his 60s. What a grind on both platforms, 1 and 2. They get the recommends, and referees say it's a good lift on both 1 and 2. Very important lift on platform 2 now. Again, Chris needs to hit this in order to stay in the meet. Meanwhile, platform 1's transitioning over to our second flight of lifters, starting off with Steve, 120 kilos, 264 pounds. ...205 kilos, 451 pounds. Two to one, good lift, and that's probably as close as you could get to not bombing out. And it looked easy.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I'm not sure what it might be for Chris, but maybe it might have just been the mental thing, right? Just kind of thinking about going a little bit deeper, right? Because the lift looked easy.
Yeah.
So he definitely had more in the tank. That definitely was not a max effort lift. I think it might have just been cueing himself to squat a little bit deeper on that third and final lift, which worked out well for him.
Yeah, and when you get into those heavier weights like that, I mean, you do worry. If you go too deep, you're taking a lot off of your energy.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's why we often advocate for starting off very light with an opening attempt to make sure that you could probably sink it a little bit deeper than you normally would, just to kind of seal it and make sure it's undeniably deep for the refs.
Come on, Edgar. Show them what you got, Edgar. 2.5 times body weight, 402-pound squat for Edgar on 3.
Good lift for Calvin, 150 kilos. Oh, unfortunately, no. Two red lights. Got called on depth. Maxwell Mercer, 150 kilos. And Jeff Cohen on platform 2, taking his third attempt squat, who missed his opening attempt, went up anyways, hit that, and now is going up another 7.5 kilos. Fortunately, a no lift, 2 red lights on depth. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering what the red light is or what depth is in powerlifting, so what the referees are looking for is for that hip crease to fall below the top surface of the knee. So if you're looking at the side profile of a lifter, once that lifter is squatting down and that crease of the hip falls below the top surface of the knee, if you were to draw kind of like a horizontal line between those points, that's the gauge or the criteria for depth in powerlifting. So it's universal across all divisions, all weight classes. So it's equally applied to everybody. Platform 2 just needs to get a little bit deeper. Squat moved easy, but Gary just needs to sink it for his next turnaround here in the second attempt. Fortunately, no lift. Platform 2. Platform 1, Michael looked like a good attempt. Waiting for the lights. That's a 2-1, good lift.
The dude looks like a lady. The dude looks like a lady. Robert Scanlon. No more changes. Lifters on platform 3 and 4. Next flight, no more changes to your openers.
Tom Dennison looking real good with those shades. 165 kilos. 364 pounds. 3 white lights.
Christopher Lanning. Bars ready for Christopher on 3. Christopher Lanning, where are you? Christopher Lanning, where are you? Here goes Ken right on 4. Christopher Lanning, where are you?
2-1, good lift. Platform 1, Gary Edwards, 127.5 kilos on platform 2. Finally got a good lift on platform 1 or platform 2 for their opening attempts in that second flight. Three white lights, platform 2, 3 white lights, and platform 1. Again, squats are moving fairly smooth. We have all of our 4 platforms moving independently from one another. So just because one flight or one platform is finishing up just a little bit faster, that doesn't mean that the other ones stop. What was that feeling like when you competed at nationals, kind of seeing all the other platforms competing at the same time with you?
It can be a little overwhelming, but you have to really focus so you can just kind of get that blinders and focus on what you need to do. Bright lights on you, and
I think that warm-up room shock is definitely real. When you walk into the warm-up room and you see that many racks, that many plates, and everyone just kind of swarms in, kind of flocks towards the platforms.
yeah. controlled chaos.
Yeah, it really is. It really is back here. And again, if you're sort of wondering how you end up at nationals, this isn't a meet you just register for. So our lifters have to go by a qualifying total that is set by USA Powerlifting. Each division and every single weight class has a qualifying total that they must hit in that weight class. And recently, it has been changed. So for this nationals, your qualifying total must have been hit at either a state, regional, or a previous national championship. So you can no longer qualify for nationals at a local meet. And so Jenna, have you competed anytime in between last time you competed at nationals and when you're about to compete tomorrow?
Unfortunately, I haven't. Had planned to local meet just to get that platform time in, but injury kept me out of it. So
And so talk a little bit about kind of the pros and cons of either competing often or taking the time to in between meets to train and actually build.
yeah, like taking time off is great. Like it gives you just a little bit of a break in a way. You just don't have that mental load of I have to get my numbers built for the next meet. It just gives you time to build your strength. Make any technique tweaks if you need to. Sometimes just you get a little burnout if you're in prep, so just gives you that time to just mentally take a break.
Yeah, I think oftentimes you can think about it like an exam as well, right? You can retake an exam as many times as you want, but if you're not studying for it, you're not really going to get that much better every time you take it. So taking that time off and training and really studying, practicing, and getting better at that skill element of powerlifting is going to make you a lot more prepared sometimes than just doing as many meets as possible. So that time off is probably going to suit you well, especially if you're letting your body recover. And I think that recovery aspect is really key once you get into the Masters, right? Because that's, I mean, your body just doesn't work like how it used to, right? I mean, that's just...
recovery definitely takes a little longer at times, especially, if you're really going in on volume and...
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you have to factor that in as far as from the coaching aspect, but also your training, recovery, sleep. Those variables become extra important, making sure those are in check.
Yeah, gives you time for that life balance too. Because Masters lifters, some of them have
family,
children, grandchildren, work, other things in life to focus on. So.
Whereas we just had high school and collegiate nationals a few months ago in Killeen, Texas, and New Orleans, respectively. So, I mean, a lot of the times, a lot of the students aren't really doing much other than lifting and going to school.
Yeah. I wish that's all I had to do. Yeah. Just go to school and lift and not have to adult.
Yeah. Pretty soon you realize that once those variables and those outside life happenings take place, it does become extra important to protect a lot of those variables, make sure that you're getting your sleep, you're keeping those stress levels low, and actually getting productive training in. I think every session becomes much more important as kind of life gets busier.
Yeah.
So again, powerlifting is a majority rules sport when it comes to the lights. So we do have 3 referees positioned in the left-hand side, right-hand side, and directly in front of the lifter. So it just gives referees a vantage point of a kind of surrounding angles of the entire lifter, so they can not miss any infractions should there be any. So you only need 2 white lights like we see here on platform 2. For a good lift. And similarly, if a lifter receives 2 red lights, that unfortunately will be a no lift. And that colored square you see right below the red X, if should a red light come up, just indicates to the viewer and gives information on what the actual infraction was for. So here we see on platform 1, our lifter received 2 red lights with a red card violation on the side, meaning that both side referees did not believe that the lifter squatted low enough. And truthfully, once you get into, you see it a little bit more often in the Masters division. Lifters having kind of a tougher time hitting depth, often sometimes, kind of just due to, I guess, for lack of better words, hip constraints or knee pain or whatever have you, injuries throughout the years.
Yeah. Yeah, mobility changes despite your best efforts.
Yeah. Not sure kind of what your experience has been with lifting or being able to hit depth. But I mean, you can kind of feel it as you've progressed through life, if you
Yeah.
will. Now, Jenna, how long have you been lifting, or specifically powerlifting?
I've been lifting for quite a few years. Focused in on powerlifting just a couple years ago. So still kind of relatively new to it, but
And in a way, that's a really good testament to kind of emphasize the idea that it's never too late to start powerlifting, and I'm sure that powerlifting has brought a lot of great benefits into your health and fitness life.
yeah.
As I see that many of these masters lifters use powerlifting as a really great avenue to get in the gym and seek that progress, seek that rate of progression. Even if you're a masters lifter, normally one would expect your fitness levels to decline as you get older. But I mean, for a lot of these lifters, they've competed year after year and gotten stronger as they compete, as they get more experience. So again, it's a race against time, and I mean, these masters lifters are winning.
Yeah, they're just adding more time on their clock. So.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it from a health and life aspect too. I mean, the healthier you are, the further you extend your life as well. I mean, that's something that is very true, and we see it a lot in lifting and sports. Way to adjust on platform 1. Our lifter able to secure that 170 kilo squat. We do have a few lifters on both platforms 1 and 2 who have had consecutive missed first and second attempts, and hopefully we can come back and hit those on the third attempt and not have anyone bomb out. Again, Tom Dennison with the shades, 175 kilos, taking a 10 kilo jump, platform 1. Kind of strategic too with all the lights, kind of getting that light out of your eyes. Focus on the lifting and the referee. I'm not sure if you've stood out there, but those lights are bright.
Yeah, they'll definitely get you. That was one of the things when I went to nationals last year for the first time. I was told, take your time going out there, get adjusted. Those lights are different than you're used to. So.
Yeah, even take a walk before you're even out there, right? Just kind of visualize yourself lifting the weight.
Here comes Nick Verstappen. Nice to have you back, Nick. Let's go, Nick.
Also a no lift here on platform 2. Gotta love to see it when after a lifter finishes their lift, you just see a sea of pink flock towards the rack and start adjusting plates, rack heights, all this sort of thing. So, I mean, these are full professional spotting and loading teams who have years of experience spotting at and loading at these national level meets. So that's why they're so efficient, and that's why there's so many of them. It just helps the meet run super fast. Again, our teams here move with intention. Every second saved, I mean, it adds minutes to the amount of time you're able to cut from a total competition.
It's fun watching before the meet even starts. You see them warming up, just running through everything, and you just see how fast and efficient they are.
I remember my first ever competition. It was from the first squat I hit to the last deadlift, I would say it was about 8 hours, 8 to 9 hours. So, I mean, that just kind of has shown it. That was back in, I did my first competition in 2019. And so that was quite a while ago. And so it just kind of shows how powerlifting has kind of progressed a little bit more to making spotting and loading a little bit more efficient and more professional.
Yeah. Even, at your where I am at in San Diego, like a lot of the spotting and loading crews are just from the local college powerlifting teams. There's several around us, and they're very efficient, and they get the job done.
Especially in the region like California, down in that Southern California area, you guys have a lot of meets, so there's a lot of experience to go around for the powerlifting teams.
Michael Johansson on board, 419 pounds. Up next is Johnny from New Jersey. Here comes Adrian Wright. Platform
Good lift, platform 2, 3 white lights. Earlier this session, we had Jennifer Thompson compete in platform 1 in the Masters 2 division. Meanwhile, we have Donovan Thompson, her husband, competing now platform 1 with 192.5 kilos now loaded on the bar for him.
507 pounds.
What a sight to see both husband and wife competing at Masters Nationals. And I believe their kids compete too, so we might see them later on if they are registered for the meet.
Gotta love that you have an activity that you can do with your significant other.
Yeah.
And together they've traveled the country and the world.
And I think that's one of the other really cool aspects about powerlifting, especially the opportunities that USA Powerlifting provides with nationals being in a different location every single year. It kind of gives you an extra opportunity to kind of take a break of everything and compete, and then kind of take a mini vacation if you do so have the time. I mean, right now we are in Lombard, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, just maybe about a 30 to 40 minute drive from here, from the city. So a lot of these lifters, after they compete, are going to take some trips out into the city and enjoy their time in beautiful city of Chicago.
Here comes Mueller and Trosper. Ring and 4 respectively. Mueller's got 529. Trosper's got 429. Bars ready on 3. Bars ready on 4.
Good lift, platform 2. We're just starting out our third attempt squats on platform 1, our second flight. Meanwhile, we're wrapping up our second attempts for platform 2, also in that second flight.
Bars ready for Oscar Buddy and Warita. Bars ready for Andrew Cooper.
Very nice to see. That was a 3 white light lift on platform 2 and a 3 white lights lift as well on platform 1. Now we have our first of 3 similar situations here where our lifters missed their first 2 attempts. Calvin retaking 150 kilos for the 3rd time, now in his 3rd attempt. Got a initial infraction in that opening attempt due to depth, and then got called for his knees not being locked out on that 2nd attempt. So let's see if he can make both of those adjustments on this 3rd lift.
That looks good.
Look plenty deep, yep. And our judges Say 2-1. Good lift. I'm not sure if you've ever been into a position like that, but I have, and it's scary.
Luckily, I haven't. It's always my greatest fear that's going to happen to me.
Have you ever missed an opener?
I haven't missed an opener.
Okay, yeah, nice. Yeah, so I've had kind of a little bit of everything happen, and it is a bit nerve-wracking missing that first and second lift, and knowing that if you miss that third lift, your meet is done. I mean, if you so happen to bomb out of a meet, your lift isn't necessarily over as far as you can't compete anymore, but you just won't be able to place or medal. So again, both of our lifters coming up, Rich Hayes and Glenn Trost on platforms 1 and 2 respectively, need to hit these lifts in order to stay in the competition and place in Masters Nationals.
And they're taking different methods.
Yeah.
Rich deciding to go ahead and go up and weight and see if that fixes the problems, and Glenn staying with the same weight for his third.
Again, Glenn just needs to get a little bit deeper on his third attempt. Can he squat low enough? That looked deep, yep.
Lock it out.
Again, look like those knees are locked. Let's see what the referees say. And there it is. Again, sometimes that simple adjustment.
Rich hit depth that time.
Let's go.
Can you lock it out?
Kind of took a bit of a step on his left hand. Let's see if the referees are going to call him for that. And I believe they did. So unfortunately, that'll be a no lift. So Rich Hayes has unfortunately bombed out of the competition. And so just to dig in a little bit about what the referees specifically call them there, he did lose a bit of balance and did take a marginal step on his left hand. So as per the rule book, your feet placement has to stay in the same footprint during the squat. So you can rock between your toes and the ball of your your foot as back and forth, but your feet can't move laterally anywhere on the platform. And I think that's what some of the referees saw there, giving that yellow card infraction. Good depth there for Maxwell Mercer. Let's see if the referees agree. Oh, unfortunately, 2-1, no lift.
Alexander the Great is coming up on platform 3. Alexander the Great is looking to go 3 for 3 on the squat. It's a Saturday night. It's all right for powerlifting. David Shea, 507 pounds, 2 white lights. Alexander goes 3 for 3. Alexander the Great. Alexander went, but there were no more weights he could conquer. Robert Scanlon on 4. Nick Verstappen on 3.
That's good lift on 1. Unfortunately, no lift on platform 2. Lifter.
No lift for Nick, give him a round of applause. No lift for Scanlon, give him a round of applause. Robert. Who goes Clayton on 3, Smith on 4. Bars ready for Clayton. 240 kilos on 3. Bars.
3 whites on platform 2, and what a grind on platform
Go,
1. Wow.
4 sends Lisa.
What do the refs say? Wow, that was such a grind. 3 white lights. Man, you can count the seconds how much he was grinding that lift. I think that's probably even more rewarding than having a third attempt squat move very easy, because you kind of can agree that, okay, that was about my max. Yeah.
You got every kilo you could.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah.
Coaching by Josh Rohr. He's part of Team Rohr.
And again, sometimes lifters might strategically not push the very top end because, again, squat is only one of the 3 disciplines. So you still have to bench and you still have to deadlift, and you have to do it all in the same day, back to back to back. So sometimes lifters might opt to go a little bit conservative on their squat and try to save a little bit of energy, go 3 for 3, and then just seeing if they can build that momentum. But again, it does come with the risk of leaving kilos on the table if it does come up to a pulling for the win type of situation where you need every single kilo possible to get a placement. Oh, I believe it's only 2 flights?
Yep, just 2 flights
I thought
for
it was
the second session.
I thought it was 3.
This morning was 3.
I'm kind of glad now. I thought we had another one to go.
Yeah, morning sessions had 3 flights. So
Yeah. Great work there for James. Platform 1, securing a 400-pound squat. Unfortunately, a 2-to-1 no lift. Again, got called on depth. Didn't squat low enough.
No lift on 3. 3 wide nights on 4. Here comes Michael Johansson on 4. Mueller on 3. 540 pounds for Mueller.
Got exactly 4 lifters left on platforms 1 and 2. Ryan Avery, 185 kilos. Wow, what a grind there. I mean, that bar was moving side to side, but Ryan does not give up. And our referees give him 3 white lights. Same here, Joe Hayes. 3 white lights for the lifter on platform 1. Making sure we have the right weight on platform 2 for June Ko, 207.5 kilos, 457 pounds. Meanwhile, Donovan Thompson, husband to Jennifer Thompson, who just lifted earlier this morning, 195 kilos.
going the safe route, just that small jump. He had a bit of grind on that second.
Again, just trying to pick up a few more kilos, adding onto his total without emptying out the tank necessarily. Meanwhile, we got a 12.5 kilo jump on platform 2. And that looked to be about the right call for both lifters. Didn't completely empty out the tank, but look, about a third attempt.
Yeah, Johnny, beautiful. 3 white lights, Johnny. Johnny Gillespie. Brad Trosper, 446. And Trosper gets the rack. He gets 3 white lights. Here comes
We're down to our last lifters on both platforms 1 and 2. Mark Tarver up next. Here at platform 1, 215 kilos, 474 pounds.
Elgin, 628 pounds, no lift.
That was a smooth lift for Mark. That's 3 white lights. Good lift on platform 2. Looks to be fairly easy for Jonathan. And just like that, that concludes the squat session of the 2026 USA Powerlifting Masters Nationals. Again, this is just session 2. 2 more sessions to go. We will take a 10-minute intermission, and we will see you all for the bench press. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the bench press portion of the session. Again, this is the 2026 USA Powerlifting Masters Nationals presented by A7 here in Lombard, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. We are just getting ready to start bench press for platforms 1 and 2. Again, we hear the music has been turned down a notch just so our lifters can listen to our referee's commands.
Hearing those commands is a lot more important with the bench because you have 3 different commands that you have to hear.
Yeah, and again, keyword on here because you can't even see the referee. So, yeah, we have the start command, press, and rack. So just kind of walking through what each command is and kind of when it's given. So our lifters will walk up onto the platform, again, lay themselves flat. They will unrack the bar. And right now for the bench press, because we do have our spotters and loading team over on platform 1, we do see how Harmesh got a assisted liftoff from the spotter and loader. So that is just a little bit of weight that is taken off of the bar to allow the lifter to kind of set into that starting position. Once lifters are holding that bar out with full arm extension, they will receive the start command and commence their lift. They will lower the bar to their chest and hold the bar motionless on their chest, at which they'll receive the press command from our chief referee and then press that bar back out to full arm extension. Hold it again once more, and then they will receive the final rack command and rack the bar back into the rack. Jenna, where does bench press rank as far as your favorite lift? Is it kind of the more favorite ones or least favorite? Kind of where do you rank the SBD?
Least favorite.
Least favorite?
Born to
Same.
deadlift, forced to bench.
Oh, that is 100% me as well. I'm not sure if you also deal with it too, but I have longer arms than I do than most people. So deadlift for me is a fairly easier lift and more fun for me as well. Just because for bench press I typically have a long way up, long way down.
Yeah.
Whereas on deadlift it's pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely love my deadlift. And my coach says I have long arms, which makes me laugh because I feel like I have T-Rex arms when
Yeah.
I do pretty much anything else. So,
Yeah, and again, it plays into the way everyone's built. So if you just kind of picture, like mechanically speaking, if you have shorter arms, that means that the bar has to travel at a much shorter range of motion from point A, which is full arm extension, and point B, which is to the chest, versus somebody who has longer arms might have to move that bar a greater distance, therefore having to use up a little bit more energy that may not go into direct weight added to the bar. Whereas in the deadlift, for example, you have longer arms, you have to pick up that bar a shorter distance than somebody who has shorter arms has to pick up that bar just a little bit lower off the ground.
and then with that arm length, that'll also can also play into your where you hold the bar, so your grip width.
Yeah.
Which then affects, how you're pressing the bar off your chest. That wider grip is a little harder to get off your chest.
And then if you really want to get technical, you can start talking about the arch, right? The arch people can create to get that bar or decrease that distance even further from where the bar has to hit. So again, a lot of technicalities that can go into the bench press events. A lot of points of contact. Again, we have the hands, the hips and butt, the upper back and shoulders, and the feet as well, leg drive.
Because here on your screen, you can see 2 differences in the arch. Douglas has a lot flatter back, and Chris is going with more of an arch.
Again, Chris gets another replace command here. Our chief referee's indicating that he needs to, I believe, lock out his arms in order to receive that start command. Lifters must ensure that their elbows are locked out, their feet are fully flat on the platform, and their butt is on the bench. So I believe Chris in this instance has timed out, and so unfortunately will not be awarded that lift. So he will have 2 more opportunities to come back and try to attempt and get a good lift. we see our spotters and loaders on platform 1 adding what are called foot blocks to the platform. So that just gives our lifters a bit of an elevated surface to which they can put their feet on. That way they can get adequate leg drive, and that way their feet can remain fully flat on the platform or the block if they so choose to get that added. Again, it just ensures that lifters are able to perform all of the lifts according to the requirements and rules, making it very accessible for lifters of all sizes. And now, Jennifer, you kind of describe a little bit about your sort of bench press technique. Are you a wide grip, high arch, close grip, no arch? Kind of where do you sit between those?
I'm fairly wide grip. Used to close grip, but that was what gave me all my shoulder issues in the past. So we've slowly worked on widening my grip, and which has improved it. And I have a slight arch. I'm not flat back, but I'm not an extreme arch. I'm kind of right in that middle ground.
Yeah, and I think a lot of lifters end up tending to move towards the wider grip for the most part as power lifters. As you discussed, that closer grip does engage a lot more of the shoulder and triceps. However, that wider grip does utilize a lot more of the chest. So if you just think about the way people are built, your chest is a lot bigger of a muscle than shoulders and triceps. So in theory, a bigger muscle moves more weight. So that shortens the range of motion and just kind of makes everything a little bit more balanced instead of isolating the shoulders or triceps in that close grip. And then similarly with the arch, sometimes you don't even need that big of an arch. Sometimes lifters don't even benefit from having an extreme arch. As long as you have just some sort of arch to keep that spine in a neutral position, that's all you really need.
Jerry Sitka on platform 4. Jerry opening up with 70 kilos.
And again, with that in mind, because bench press does involve a lot more of a technical aspect with a lot of moving parts, and we are using smaller muscles compared to our squat, which are legs, back, etc. Our jumps are going to be typically a little bit smaller than what we saw on the squat event. So expect to see somewhere in the 2 to 5 to even maybe 7 kilo jumps as compared to squat where we even saw like 15, 12 and a half kilo jumps. We won't see that as much here in the bench press events. I think usually 2.5 kilos to 5 kilos is kind of the where you want to aim at, just because a big jump in the bench press will really throw you off.
Yeah, I mean you'll occasionally get your 7.5 and 10s, but a lot of those you see their opener they just went light to make sure they get that counted lift, so they're good, and then make the jumps and.
Absolutely.
3 white lights on 3 for Scott Berryman. Here comes Edgar. Hard ready for Edgar. Here goes Greg Coleman, 260 pounds, almost on 4. Up next is Nadim. Next, 3 white lights to Coleman. Oh, easy opener for Edgar. 3 white lights. Nadim, 3 lights. Go.
Wow, what a big bench on platform 2. I just noticed 172.5 kilos. That's almost 400 pounds for an opener. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And he's in a 75 kilo weight class. Wow. Daniel on platform 1 missed his opening attempt, but is still going up 2.5 kilos, looking to potentially cover a little bit of ground without overly extending himself, just trying to pick up an additional 2.5 kilos and make that adjustment for his second attempt. Again, a little bit tougher, but he does get all of his commands, and our referees say that's 3 wide light lift, so Daniel is on the board.
£336 for Brown, taking it down now. And that's 3 white light. Quentin, hit the light. Thank you, Quentin.
So again, we see that handoff on platform 2. Our lifter getting assistance removing the bar out of the racks. Unfortunately, that'll be a no lift, but does conserve the lifter with a little bit of energy instead of having them remove the bar from the rack all by themselves. What do you usually prefer?
In me, I always I ask for a lift off. And when I'm doing prep, when I'm getting to my top singles as the end of prep, I'll get a lift off. But for the most part in training, I self-lift.
And once the weight gets a little heavier, right,
Yeah.
you're hitting those max lifts, it is helpful to get that lift off. Again, you are saving a lot of energy having somebody help you remove the bar off the racks. However, I guess one thing I will throw in there, the consistency aspect is one thing that is a little bit important as well. Sometimes it might not be a good thing getting a handoff if the handoff isn't a good one, right?
Yeah.
If the spotter and loader is, or you don't communicate well with the spotter and loader and how you specifically want that handoff to be given, sometimes it could even play to your disadvantage and throwing you off, or maybe they release the weight or take it off a little bit too much, what have you, right? I mean, there's that other element, and I guess I'll say that for me, I personally always self-handoff. I don't usually ask for anybody to hand off the weight just because I like building that consistency, kind of repeatability among all of my lifts. But I do find that in the times where I do get handoffs, I do conserve more energy. So it's just a pick and choose which one you would want to go with.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. When you're asking for a lift off, you have to make sure that you have very clear and simple instructions. It's one thing watching Jennifer Thompson give her lift off talk to.
Yeah.
It's always fun watching her because I mean you can watch her and know exactly like what she's saying.
Yeah, see how specific it is.
You're just watching it and you know how to lift off for her.
Yeah, and I think when you're at these big meets, sometimes you don't kind of fail to realize that these spotters and loaders are dealing with hundreds of lifters. So being as specific as possible is going to be only play into your advantage. So again, every single attempt you want to refresh the spotter and loader's mind, just because you can't guarantee that they're going to remember the last time they handed you off or the exact instructions for how you want your handoff specifically. So it's to your advantage to just take the extra bit of seconds to tell them exactly how you want it. Again, it can be confusing where you just say on 3 and then you don't really know what to do from there.
Yeah.
The other important thing about bench press specifically is that there is a command, which is the press command, that is given when the bar is motionless on the chest. And one key word there is motionless. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that the bar that you are given the press command when the bar touches your chest, it means when the bar is motionless. So what can this mean, right? So sometimes lifters might have a sinking bench press where that bar continues to sink beyond when the bar just touches their chest. So maybe they want to get a little bit of that cushioning in their chest, or they have a very soft and light touch at the chest. So either or, the referee is waiting for that bar to become motionless on the chest, meaning that is not it's not moving either up or down, sideways, and so that's it. Really is up to the lifter to make that bar motionless, and it's on them to determine how fast they want that press command. Sometimes people mix it up where they think that the referee is holding them unnecessarily long, but sometimes it might just be the lifter, and that bar is moving side to side, and you just the lifter might not realize it, but the referee can see that bar is still kind of swaying and not being motionless. I personally have a very soft touch on the chest. I don't really sink at all, so it allows me to have a bit of a faster press command when competing. However, it does require a little bit more energy since I do have to kind of hover that bar just kind of above the chest.
Yeah, I'm the same. I have that soft touch, and I prefer that because I feel like I can keep that tension
Yep.
in my upper body a
You
lot
don't
better.
relax or anything.
Yeah, like having to hover just keeps that rubber band really tight.
Exactly, and then you almost want to bring your chest up to the bar, and so it allows you to kind of flare up your chest and just shorten that range of motion, if you will, a little bit more. So our lifter on platform 2 gets 2 yellow cards on the side, and I believe what happened there is I saw his hips kind of shoot up as he was pressing that bar, and so you can't really see it from this angle, but what you can infer given the lights is that his butt most likely came up off the bench. If you assume that if you see that his hips kind of shot up, you can kind of follow along and see that his butt probably is off the bench. So that's probably what the side referees called him on that last lift.
And on his first attempt, one of his feet moved off the floor. It like went from fully flat to
Kind of
his
kicked
heel.
out in front of him, yeah.
It kicked out, and he had his heel. So
Again, sometimes that leg drive is very strong where you think about you're kind of doing a leg extension with the floor, and then that feet slip, and then it just kind of kicks out. So unfortunately, that's a no lift as well. So your elected lifting position must remain the same, and your feet are allowed to slide on the bench on the platform. They just can't lift up off it. So inverse from the squat where your footprint has to stay the same. However, your heels and toes can come up in the squat. In the bench press, it's the opposite. Your feet can slide up all over the platform. They just can't come up off at any point. Moving pretty fast on platform 1. We're already down to our third attempts here for the first flight. Harmesh taking a 2.5 kilo jump, missed his second attempt, and is opting to see if he can try to secure an additional 2.5 kilos. He did take a 10 kilo jump from his opening and second attempt. Yeah, so unfortunately that'll be a no lift. He did kind of do a bit of a touch and go on that lift. Yeah, so that'll be a no lift. Not sure if you caught that.
yeah.
So good. It objectively looked like a good lift. However, he didn't quite listen to the referee's signal, so he did wait for that start command, but just kind of jumped that press command, did a touch, and then went back out to press it. And again, very different than how normal people would train in the gym, right? Normal people, when you think of a bench press, you just think of a touch and go, bodybuilding style bench press. However, in powerlifting, if you see a powerlifter training at your gym locally, you can most likely see them training with a pause in the chest, and that's a competition-specific bench press if you're pausing it. And normally how most powerlifters train.
You got 14 seconds, Anthony. There you go. Great totaling, coaching by Kristen Villana, Titanium Strength and Conditioning out of Connecticut. Bars ready for Edgar.
And if you're following along on LiftingCast, you'll notice that on platform 2, one lifter did opt not to take his third attempt.
And so all you need is one good attempt in order for that discipline to count and for you to be able to get a total. So in theory, you can really just hit opening squat, opening bench press, and opening deadlift, and you'll be good to place and hit a total. Sometimes what ends up happening, and what likely is the case there, is that second attempt was kind of everything that lifter had in the tank, or maybe they want to conserve energy going into deadlift, so they might not feel the need to have to go for that third attempt, whether it be for placing, whether it be for conserving energy, or whether they just wanted to take that planned third attempt on the second. Again, many reasons why that might be a case. That lifter went 2 for 2, so they kind of ended off in a good spot where they're pretty content. I've done that before as well, where that second attempt kind of moved at a RPE 10, kind of where my max should have moved. So just kind of called it there, and save the energy for the deadlift, which is the bigger lift. Good recovery on our lifter on platform 1, 2-to-1, good lift. Just a little bit too much on the day for him. Mark Davis will walk away with 117.5 kilos. And also something that might not be as common in the bench press as compared to the squat and deadlift is the utilization of a belt in the bench press. Normally, people don't bench press with a belt. However, you absolutely can, and our lifters on platforms 1 and 2 are choosing to bench press with the belt. Just kind of adds that brace, able to kind of fill that chest with air and have something to push up against through your brace. So again, totally up to the lifter in their preference. However, you do see most lifters squat and deadlift with the belt. Not always the case in bench press.
It's a weird feeling to bench with a belt on. I did it last year at Nationals because I had tweaked my back just before Nationals. So it was more of a back support for me.
Yeah, it just kind of keeps the trunk tight. And just, again, sometimes what ends up happening in bench press, and honestly what sometimes hinders people in the deadlift later on is back cramps. You're with the arch, with kind of everything tensing up with leg drive and utilizing the whole body. I mean, your back can take a toll in the bench, believe it or not. Many people think that the bench press is just a upper body movement, when in reality, I mean, if you're properly using leg drive, I mean, you'll feel it in your legs, you'll feel it in your back, I mean, shoulders, everything. If you hit a pretty tough bench press session, sometimes your whole body will be sore.
Yeah.
I've had that happen before.
I've
as
had
well.
a leg cramp up.
Yeah. Again, retake on platforms 1 and 2. Second attempt weight. Both lifters have missed it on their second attempt, retaking that same weight for the third.
Benjamin Roller for 4. Goes Bruce on 3.
Way to go for Bradford Olson, platform 1. 2-1, good lift. And a very important lift on platform 2 coming up for Daniel Brusser, 137.5 kilos. Again, you see he went up 2.5 kilos from his opening attempt to second, but is now retaking that, which is a smart move, trying to at least get something on the board.
Benjamin Rowe gets 3 whites. Daniel Brusser on 2.
I don't think that'll be a good lift. I think his butt might have came up.
No lift. His butt came off the bench, I believe. Right, Rachel? Thank you, Rachel.
Again, it's not a question of whether the lifter was strong enough to lift the weight. He clearly was strong enough. It's just a matter of, can the lifter also adhere to the technical standards and the technical requirements required of them to execute the lift. So most commonly missed bench presses on a technicality would likely be that butt coming up off the bench, since sometimes when the lifters apply leg drive, they do kind of just push down into the platform, which causes their hips to rise up. I've dealt with issues like that before, and I've missed several bench presses due to my butt coming up off the bench. Manny looking to be one of the few lifters in this flight to join in going 6 for 6 after finishing off the bench press event. If he's successful with this 150 kilo third attempt bench press, he will be going 6 for 6.
Oh my God, what's the call, Scott?
Nice and easy attempt for him.
Beautiful. The bar is ready for Craig Stafford. I see Dwayne is ready to go.
And so, Jenna, talk to me a little bit about what the feeling might be for a lifter who goes 6 for 6 or 3 for 3 in any given discipline, and how that feeling, what that feels like going into the next event versus maybe not hitting all of your lifts or maybe walking away a little bit disappointed with your performance.
It definitely gives you more confidence going into that next lift. You know, you feel like, okay, things are going good. You know, your confidence just goes up to a different level. You know, sometimes if you miss that lift, you know, you get a little in your head.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the mental aspect is something that often isn't as talked about in powerlifting. I mean, people think about it as just lifting pure strength, but once you kind of get in your head, it's really hard to come out of it.
You can be your own worst enemy.
It absolutely can be, and I think one key idea that usually helps a lot of powerlifters is the idea of having a short memory. Once you're done with a discipline, once you're done squatting, once you're done bench pressing, and you're on to the next, it's very important to not worry about that anymore, knowing that's already done. That's already gone. That opportunity, whether it was hit, it was missed, is behind you, and now it's time to look ahead of you and focus on what you have ahead, because focus on what you can change. That's usually what ends up helping a lot of lifters. But again, it's very hard to get in that mindset and get out of your head when things aren't necessarily going your way. Moving along into our opening attempts for our second flight, platforms 1 and 2.
pounds for Al. Come on, Al. Oh, yeah, Al. Oh, and Al's sister liked that one. No lift on 3. Load the bar for about 8 on 4. Here comes
Getting some smooth bench pressing right now for these opening attempts.
Josh Moore. Bars ready on 2, 3, and
Got
4.
Steven up next. 92.5 kilos. Jack Berg, 110 kilos, platform 1. Not something you see as often there on platform 2. So by rule, knee sleeves must only be worn on the knees. So we saw Steven had his knee sleeves rolled down to his shins. So it either has to be completely on or completely off. So sometimes in training, we get used to maybe benching after squatting, and we just kind of roll down the knee sleeves without fully taking them off. So unfortunately, you can't do that here. You have to take them fully off or put them on, which we saw Steven kind of put them on. Not something you encounter as often.
No, definitely not.
Coleman, coached by Kristen Villada. Titanium strength and conditioning. Rounds in the front row. Who is it? Here comes the drink. No lift on 4. Bars ready for Warren on 4. Edgar on 3.
Some good lifts here, platform 1. 3 white lights.
On 3, 3 reds on 4. Here comes Howard on 4. Michael Stagg on 3. Michael did not come Stagg. His wife is in the audience.
Very nice and easy opening attempt, platform 2.
Go, Michael, go, Michael, go! Go, knock it out, Michael! Oh my goodness! That was beautiful, Michael. 3 white lights, your lift is good. Hit power team.
Now that is something that you also don't see as often, but is very nice in making powerlifting very accessible for individuals who may be hard of hearing. We saw a referee step up to the platform and actually give physical taps on that lifter's shoulders alongside the verbal commands, just as an added way of communicating the commands to the lifter. So that's a very nice way for the commands to be instructed to the lifter and making them able to receive the commands in this very loud and chaotic environment.
No lift for Brad. No more changes. Lifters on platform 3. Next flight. No more changes to your opener. Here comes Natalia and Jose. Platform 4.
Good attempt on platform 2.
That's an easy opener for Tim. 3 white lights on platform 3.
Smooth one as well on platform 1 for Paul.
No lift for Vitaly.
And I believe on LiftingCast we do see that Rich Hayes, who bombed out earlier in the squad event, is done for the day. He will not be coming out to take a bench press or deadlift attempt, so he will unfortunately be going home without a total. But I feel like this kind of serves as an opportunity to learn and be able to come back and put an even better performance next time you come back to nationals. Maxwell Mercer looking to pick up some momentum now in the bench press event, taking a 125 kilo opener. Jonathan Turk, 130 kilos for his opening attempt.
Bars ready for Clayton. No lift for Jose. He had some up and down the bar, I believe.
Good lift for Mr. Mercer.
Is that right, Lisa? Benjamin Rowe, 160 kilos. Bars ready on platform 4. And that's 3 white lights for Clayton. No, Clayton's butt came off the bench. Is that right? Was it his butt? Oh, sorry. White lights for Mueller. Here comes Mueller with 298 on the bar. Here comes Melendez, 162 and a half kilos. This is another, Melendez has scratched this competition. We should really zero him out. So we don't have to waste our time over here on the board.
We're just now finishing up our opening attempts, platform 1. Meanwhile, platform 2 is already starting on their second attempt bench presses. Again, bench press is moving very fast thanks to our spotters and loaders. Matt Muchigrosso, 145 kilos in platform 1. Matt competed both at the Arnold earlier in March and was actually at the inaugural IDFPA World Championship in Seoul, South Korea this past December.
Bars ready for the drink. 314 pounds on 3. Here comes Nigel with 242 pounds on 2. Hey, is that Joey B USA? Joey, what's with all the hair? Looking good, man. Looking good. 3 white lights on 2. Joey B USA. I love you, man. Yeah, you're trying to match me, aren't you? Come on, Nigel. And McCrary gets 3 whites. Here goes Nigel on 4. That's an easy opener for Nigel. 3 white lights. Kenneth Wright, 242 on the bar on platform 4. Here comes Alexander the Great. Alexander the OC on 3. Bar is Bars ready. Alexander opening up at 147.5 kilos. I'm sorry. What did the referee say on 3? 2 white lights. The lift is good.
A little bit of unevenness, but still a good lift on platform 2 for Joel. He gets 3 white lights.
Bars ready for Adrian, right on 3. We got right on 3 and right on 4. We got dueling rights. Come on, Adrian. Come on, Kevin. You gotta fight for your right to power lift. 3 white lights on 4. Here goes Joe Hansen. Here goes right on 3. 2 white lights on 2. Smooth. Smooth for Adrian. 3 lights.
Overall, we've been having some fairly consistent bench pressing, not that many failed lifts, especially over on platform 2. I mean, all of our lifters have successfully hit their openers, and so far, I mean, halfway through the flight, everyone's hitting. It's always a good sign.
Ready to come up on 4. No wrist straps. Bars ready, right?
Gary kind of had that bar stall and come up and down a few times. So unfortunately, that'll be a no lift. He will have one more opportunity to come back and hit that weight for his 3rd attempt at bench press. Michael, platform 1, 117.5 kilos. Meanwhile, that was an easy lift for him. And our referees say that is 3 white lights.
Bars ready for LT. 264 pounds for Adrian.
Smooth attempt. Picks up 10 kilos, Jack, on platform 1. Meanwhile, that was a no lift on platform 2. And again, you see the different strategies going on and taking place between the 2 platforms. There's a 2.5 kilo jump and then there's a 7.5 kilo jump. Both reasonable in the bench press event. Again, just playing into the preferences of each lifter, whether they would like to kind of start off light and take bigger jumps to conserve energy, or if they would like to just add on small 2.5 kilo increments to their bench press events. Fortunately, no lift for James on platform 1. That was a good lift on platform 2.
Christopher on 3, Charles on 4. 2 white lights.
Nice job there for Ryan, platform 2.
Come on. 3 white lights. Here comes Lincoln. 303 pounds of weight. Michael Harris on 4. Bars ready on 3.
Got both bars loaded, platforms 1 and 2. Paul Zhang and Jeremy Crawley.
Nobody's missing a light on 4. That's 3 white lights on 4. Here comes Ariel Guerrero, 298 pounds on 4.
No lifts on platform 1.
Bars ready for Wheeler on 3. Ariel on 4. Hey, Danny, how are you?
Good attempt there for Jonathan on platform 2. Picks up 10 kilos. Normally you don't see jumps like that move that well. And, I mean, by the looks of it, he's having a good day thus far. No missed lifts. I think there's a bit of an experience aspect that might go into some of these lifters who've been competing for years and potentially even decades in really knowing what their bodies can handle and knowing how much exactly to jump, whether they can jump 2.5 kilos, 5 kilos, 7.5, 10, and really get to learn more about what your body likes and what it doesn't like. I mean, I think you've kind of had your fair of experience in kind of adjusting the way you train, adjusting kind of how you do things based off of what your body tells you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it definitely makes a difference. The more time you have training, you learn to listen to your body
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. Whether you learned it the hard way or not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think especially as you get more experience in powerlifting, you get stronger. Your body tends to kind of follow suit in telling you what exactly it wants, and it just helps with your own programming too, kind of relaying that information to your coach and building the best possible training plan for you. I think it just, again, it goes back to the individuality of powerlifting. Every single person is different, and every single strategy, approach, method, whatever you want to call it, is going to be different for everybody. Glenn just kind of got stuck there off the chest with 90 kilos, but he still walks away with 87.5, so only a 2.5 kilo hit off of his total. Not too much to lose, and so now he can look forward into the deadlift event.
Hey, Cooper, 347, platform.
See if we can get this chain of missed second attempts in platform 1, 142.5 kilos. Nice, good lift. And who else from Donovan Thompson? 142.5 is kind of that milestone number for a lot of lifters. It is about the equivalent of 315 pounds, so it's about 3 commercial gym plates. So if you just picture 3 plates at the gym, that's what these guys are just lifting here. And a Masters 3 lifter, Matt Muchigrosso, 147.5 kilos, only taking 2.5 kilos, looking to just add on kilos to his total. Let's see how he handles this second attempt.
Alexander Niosi, 342 pounds.
Let's see what the refs say on his elbows.
Robert on 4, 209.
Good lift, 3 white lights. There you go. Gary gets that rack command on 100 kilos, 220 pounds. That is a good lift, 2 white lights.
Nigel on 4, Adrian on 3. Bars ready for Adrian.
Joel Russick, third attempt on 2. Joel Hayes on 1, his third attempt. Let's go, Joel! Push it, Joel! Drive it! Joel and Joe right on their respective boxes. Same weight as Gary here.
3 white lights for Adrian. Here comes Alex Calvin. The bars ready for Alex. 3 white lights on 4. Here comes Kenneth Wright.
Gary, 3 white lights.
That'll be a timeout on platform 1, so we're moving along to our next lifter, Steven. 112 kilos with an opportunity to go 6 for 6 as he closes out the bench press event. Halfway through our third attempt bench presses in this last flight for platform 2. A delayed start command on platform 2, and our referee instructs the lifter that he needs to lock out those elbows in order to receive the start command. You got 5 seconds on the clock for Steven to get that start command. I believe he does. Now let's see what the referees say. Kind of a little bit of a lot going on there in this lift. He gets 3 white lights. James Wierzbicki, platform 1, 122.5 kilos. Missed it on his second attempt, but able to get it now on the third. And our referees say that is a 3 white light. Good lift. Fortunately, no lift here for Steven on 2. We got Michael taking a 5 kilo jump on 1. Junko on platform 2 taking a 5 kilo jump after missing his second attempt bench press. Let's see what the infraction was. Got a few technical calls there. Could either be for a command, his butt or feet coming up off the bench, and his elbows. Let's see if he can make those adjustments for it. The third attempt. Looks like he did. He gets 3 white lights. Now we got a 125 kilo attempt, 275 pounds for Jack Berg. Third and final bench press attempt. Ryan Avery, 264 pounds for his third and final bench press attempt. Jack's got an opportunity to go 6 for 6 after finishing this bench press attempt if successful. And he is. Let's see what the referees say. It's 3 white lights.
Bars ready for kick. 2 white lights for Charles. Here comes Michael Harris on 4, Nick for stopping on 3. Michael Harris, way to go. That's 3 white lights. Oscar Mejia Guarita. American Strength, Maplewood, Minnesota. Bars ready for field 3 points. 330 pounds for Mueller.
Unfortunately, just a little bit too much for the day for Oleg on platform 2. Let's see if Maxwell Mercer can be successful with this retake of 132.5 kilos. Again, these are third and final bench presses. And with that, we just concluded our platform 2 flight B bench pressing, so we will be going on a 10-minute intermission for that platform. Meanwhile, we're wrapping up our platform 1 bench press.
Alexander the Great is coming up on platform 3. He gets a hug from his brother.
We'll see Max back for the bench press event, deadlift event.
Thurman 2 to 1. Here comes Johnny. The lift on 3. Here comes Johnny on 4. 319 pounds. The bar's ready, Johnny. Come on, Johnny. The Great coming up on platform 4-3 now. Come on, Johnny.
Gets that recommended. And our referees say, fortunately, no lift.
Oh, yeah. It's the Great. Oh, is that Donovan Thompson, the husband of Jennifer Thompson?
You heard Gino, Donovan Thompson, husband to Jennifer Thompson. Down to our last 2 bench presses of this session. 145 kilos, 320 pounds for 82.5 kilo lifter, Donovan Thompson.
Cooper, 162.5 kilos.
You just hate to see it. Just needed a little bit more on the triceps to lock it out. I mean, that's probably as close of a missed lift as he could have gotten.
Yeah.
National record platform 1. Let's see it.
Now we got Matt Muccigrosso, our Masters 3 lifter in the 90 kilo weight class, 150 kilo bench press, 331 pounds. It's an incredible bench press.
Lift on 3. Robert on 4, 214 pounds.
Unfortunately, a little bit too much for him on the day, but we'll see him back for deadlifts. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes all of the bench pressing for platforms 1 and platform 2. We'll take another 10-minute intermission in the live stream, and we'll see you all back for the deadlift event. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second session of the 2026 USA Powerlifting Masters National Championship here in Lombard, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. We are getting started with our final discipline of the day for today, our deadlift session for our Masters lifters. We are platforms 1 and 2. We are getting started with platform 2, whose 10-minute intermission is just about wrapped up. So we are getting kickstarted with Anthony Elmore with 160 kilos for his opening attempt. Now, is it fair to say that deadlifts are your bread and butter?
Yeah, that'd be a fair assessment.
Yeah, I'd like to also fall into that camp too. I'm not too much of a bench presser, kind of a average squatter, and I really like the deadlift. So that's the one event where I know pretty well.
And now is where the meet really gets interesting. As you get into those third deadlift attempts is when strategy really comes into play.
Mm-hmm. So we did have a timeout on platform 2, meaning that the bar was loaded for our first lifter. However, that lifter did not approach the bar or get in time to actually execute this lift. So that 60-second timer expired, and now we're moving on to our second lifter, which is Kevin Woodruff, platform 2. Meanwhile, on platform 1, our 10-minute intermission time is just about done, so we are getting started with Harmesh with his opening attempt of 95 kilos. We see a lot of varying techniques here in the deadlift. Sometimes lifters will elect to have a conventional stance, a sumo stance, and I mean, like Harmesh, we kind of saw like a little bit of a hybrid stance.
Yeah, he's kind of in that kind of sumo, kind of not.
Yeah. I mean, normally it's defined by conventional deadlift where your arms are sitting outside of your knees, and in that sumo stance, your legs are outside and your hands are inside within your knees. So, again, anywhere in between, lifters have the option of placing their hands in positions on the bar and their feet. But again, no matter the position, the rules are still the same. Lifters have to stand up fully upright with their shoulders back and their knees locked. So that is the same across the board, no matter what stance you're choosing to lift in. It's a fair assessment and easy way for the referees to be able to judge our lift. Big shout out to A7 here. Mark Davis rocking the Team USA SPD or A7 colorway.
And as you're watching deadlifts, you will see something a little different. You'll see all the lifters wearing socks all the way up to their knees. You know, that's more as a safety precaution for the lifters, protects their legs from the knurling on the bar.
Yeah, and barbell knurling is very aggressive, so athletes do tend to have a bit of friction created when that bar rides up the leg. So it just, again, creates that safety in case there should be any skin, blood, or anything that gets on the bar. It just creates that added layer of protection.
And with friction, you'll also notice on a lot of your deadlifters, you'll see a lot of white powder on their upper legs. That's baby powder, helps the bar slide up their legs.
Jeff Cohen, 205 kilos for his opening attempt deadlift. Gets 3 white lights. Sai Yu Lin, 137.5 kilos. One other important thing to note is that once these lifters have fully executed and have gotten a good lift in their opening deadlift, assuming they have also gotten a good lift in a squat and the bench press events, they are now officially locked into the meet and have a official total and standing. So now it really kind of eases off a lot of the nerves as far as the risk of bombing out. So it again allows you to push just a little bit further, knowing that you're now not at risk of bombing out.
No lift for Marty. What did he do? He did not get his shoulders locked. Marty. Here comes Garlitz. And that's 3 white lights. Scott Berryman. The bar is ready.
And also, lifters do have the option of removing their shirt for the deadlift event. It's the only lift in which a shirt is not required.
Let's go, Monty!
Monty on one is lifting with his knee sleeves.
Here comes Bruce Endler. Bar's ready. 358.2 pounds. Arthur Muir is going to be our first lifter on board in about 2 minutes. Come on, Bruce. That looks all right, Bruce. And that's 3 white lights for Bruce. Here comes Lopez.
A very wide foot placement for Bradford Olson, platform 1, 185 kilos. He gets 2-1. Good lift. David Camp, 252.5 kilos. Oh, unfortunately, a no lift there. Just kind of bobbled at the top and lost it.
Here comes Anthony Barnes ready.
Kind of tends to happen when that weight shifts forward, either forward or back, and again, you're locked out, and then that weight just pulls you back down. So, again, something to keep in mind. Sometimes what ends up happening is that weight moves a little too fast, and you just have a tough time controlling it. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, where you have a light weight and it just kind of moves a little bit uncontrollably, a little bit faster than you had anticipated.
Yeah, happens occasionally. You know, they'll catch you by surprise.
Edgar. Barnes ready.
Now we got Kevin Woodruff, 195 kilos, 10 kilo jump. Harmesh taking a 12.5 kilo jump. Must feel feeling good here, 107.5 kilos.
429 pounds. Way to go, Edgar. Here comes Arthur Muir. Master side is 80, platform 4. That's a double overhand hook grip for Michael's back, and he gets 3 white lights. Arthur Muir gets 3 white lights. Here comes Greg Saffron, opening up with 474 pounds.
That's good lift, both on platforms 1 and platform 2.
Ready for Saffron.
Now we got a very interesting sort of battle 3 ways going on in platform 1 with the Masters 2 60 kilo men's division, separated only by 5 kilos among the 3 men here. So it'll be very interesting to watch them compete as they close out this deadlift event.
Platform 4, 420 pounds, and that's Lisa. How about the light, Lisa? Thank you, Lisa. 3 white lights around Montecano. Come on, Tulane. Coached by Joe Marksteiner.
Nice attempt there for Brian Struhl. Platform 1, 142.5 kilos. He gets 3 white lights.
Oh, lift is good for Tulane. Here comes the American records attempt for Brown.
Robert Gresco,
Bars reading. 589 pounds for Brown, taking it downtown.
saw you cheat on one.
Oh, that's a new American record for Brown.
3 white lights, platform 1, 3 white lights on platform 2.
Benjamin Rowe, 474, platform 4.
Roman Jones on platform 1 and Jack Mason on 2. Roman is making quick work. 3 white lights on 1. Monty coming out on 1. Monty! Lockout. Ooh.
Fortunately, no lift there for Zach Mason. Barely got it off the floor there. Let's see if he can make that adjustment for the 3rd attempt and hoping he can get it up. Monty looking to get a 10th on the board here. 165 kilos. 2nd attempt at this weight.
The Greek gods. This is Zeus, the Greek god. He'll shove a lightning bolt up your butt.
There we go. Looked like a better lift there for Monty.
Stop lying.
He gets 3 white lights.
There's Poseidon.
Monty on the board with 3 white
Stop
lights
out
on
there, right in the corner, right out there.
Jeff Cohen on the 2nd attempt. Reginald Johnson, platform 1, 2nd attempt.
And Jeff Cohen just pulls himself a little bit further into the lead, currently sitting in that 1st place position, but just trailing 10 kilos above David Kemp. Good lift for Reginald Johnson, platform 1. That's a good lift for Manny on platform 2.
Bradford, 440 pounds, 200 kilos. Let's go!
Great patience off the floor for Bradford. Unfortunately, a no lift. Now, Jenna, what type of deadlifter are you? Are you sumo? Are you conventional? And if you're sumo, do you have a wider stance, close stance?
I'm a conventional deadlifter.
Oh, so
yeah.
you're going the classic route, just
Yep.
straight old conventional. Do you do double overhand hook grip? Do you do mixed grip?
I'm a mixed grip, yeah.
Mixed grip. Wow, so you're as traditional as it gets. I'm
Yeah.
quite the opposite. I do sumo and double overhand hook grip.
Unfortunately, my hips just do not like sumo.
Yeah. I think there's also the pain part of hook grip, right? I don't know if you ever tried it.
I've tried hook grip,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Quite painful, I'm afraid.
yeah. If I want to rip my hands open,
Yeah.
let's just do it
Yeah.
the old-fashioned way.
Wow, good patience for Daniel on platform 1. Oh, and a no lift here on platform 2. So that is, again, another situation Chris is dealing with, just like the squat event, needing to hit something on the board in order to stay in the meet after having missed both his opening and second attempts.
Yeah, I think he's just needing to get locked a little better.
Yeah, those hips, those shoulders back, and those knees locked out a little bit. Just make it a little bit more convincing for these referees. I mean, it didn't look like the lift was hard. Now Harmesh looking to finish out his meet, 115 kilos. That'll be a no lift for Harmesh. However, he does walk away with a 220 kilo total there in the Masters 5 division, between 80 to 89 years of age.
Come on, Anthony on 3. We got Anthony on 2 and Anthony on 3.
Douglas Hurt, Masters 3, 60 kilo division, 130 kilos loaded for his third and final attempt. Anthony Elmore, 182.5 kilos, looking to break into the 400-pound mark on platform 2.
Our second for Arthur Muir, 276 to the gentleman in his 80s on platform 4.
2-1, a good lift there.
Wow. Here comes Edgar on 3. And Edgar gets 3 white lights. Michael Stagg, bars ready, 469. Then with the wing. Al Valgrano.
Unfortunately, a no lift for Brian. However, he does walk away with that national championship, winning in the Masters 3 60 kilo division with a 322.5 kilo total.
One, weighing 47.5 kilograms. Got Kevin Woodruff coming on the platform. 205 kilos. That is 451 pounds. Island looking at this weight. Go, Marcel! Go! Go, Marcel!
Unfortunately, no lift on 1, but gave it a valiant effort. Kevin Woodruff, platform 2.
Ray Tolman, coaching by Kristen Galata. And Ron, wherever he is.
That's a good lift for Kevin.
Come on, Dwayne.
Rolling dog on his third attempt on platform 1.
Good lift for Roland on platform 1.
Go! To the moon! On platform 2, hyped up. We got Sawyer Kid coming on platform 1.
An American record attempt for Craig Saffron on platform 3. 552.26 pounds. This is an American record.
Now John Ho Ewan is looking to extend his position in that bronze medal position, looking to fend off these competitors who have left up to go, trying to take his position. So again, successful with this third attempt. He is currently sitting in that bronze medal position. However, there are still a few more lifters left to go that are in threatening position for that bronze medal. Sao Lin did not come out for his third attempt deadlift. However, he did finish out in that third place position. Zach Mason up next. Platform 2, 215 kilos. Fortunately, a no lift for Zach. However, he does walk away with a 5th place medal. Again, we are awarding medals to places 1st through 5th. Paul Van Fleet currently sitting in that 4th place position in the Masters 175 kilo division. Monte with the 180 kilo deadlift. He walks away with 3 white lights.
Oh, he's going to eat it up, he says. He's going to eat it up. It's 611 pounds.
Robert Granko has already won in the Masters 2 67.5 kilo division, just kind of doing a victory lap here with 220 kilos. Meanwhile, Reginald Johnson sitting in that bronze medal position, looking to crack into the 400-pound range, 413 pounds loaded on platform 1. Ooh, let's see what the refs say on platform 2. Good lift there, and a good lift on 1. Bradford Olsen on 1, looking to retake 200 kilos and extend his lead in the 67.5 kilo Masters 3 division. Now Jeff Cohen, who has pretty convincingly won in the 75 kilo division, who actually, no, it's pretty close, but he's looking to extend his lead here. 227.5 kilos, 501 pounds. Again, he's currently sitting 10 kilos above David Kemp, and he's looking to extend his lead to put that gold medal position out of striking distance for David. Now, Jeff is very excited there. He's successful, 3 for 3 in the deadlifts, and he is now sitting with a 637.5 kilo total. It's kind of forcing David's hand if he wants to try for that gold medal position. Now, this is a pull for everything for Chris. Not only is he pulling to try to stay in the meet, but he is currently trying to pull for a bronze medal. So it's either he either goes home with nothing or goes home with the bronze. Again, very important lift for platform 2. Chris Baula, 235 kilos. Again, I'm wondering about his knees. Let's see what the refs say. Yeah, unfortunately, that was a no lift. So I'm not so sure if you might have caught it by the way he locked it out, but I mean he kind of leaned back and then his knee sort of kind of unlocked a little bit. I'm not sure if you could see it from the front angle. It's a bit tough to see, but I mean that's probably what ended up happening. I don't know if you've ever had instances like that where you kind of lean back a little bit too much and those knees kind of unlock.
Yeah. Just that kind of overextension will
Yes,
get you.
absolutely.
Green white lights to Jose. Here comes Marcus Muir. No lift off platform 3. Here comes Marcus Muir. Go.
So we have a pull for the win now in platform 2. David Camp is now looking to load up 600 pounds, 272.5 kilos for the win. He's currently sitting in that silver medal position with nobody left to threaten his position, looking to pull for the win to bump Jeff Cohen down and swap his silver for the gold. David Camp, 600 pounds.
No, 2 to 1 no lift. He did not.
Unfortunately, a no lift there for David. However, he does walk away with that silver medal in the 75 Masters 1 division. Now we're stripping the bar back down to 120 kilos for our Flight B lifters, which Glenn Truss will kick us off with 120.
Let's go, Albert. Oh, I'm hot around. Anthony, platform 3. Benjamin, platform 4. Oh, I don't feel party. Come on, Benjamin, roll.
Tom Dennison is opening us up 197.5 kilos and Gary with 142.5 kilos.
Edgar, platform 3 gets 3 white lights. Joe gets 3 white lights. That's 6 white lights. Here comes Michael Staggs. Greg Coleman. Let's go, Greg. 501 pounds.
Nice opening lift for Paul Zhang.
Greg Coleman, he nods to the crowd. He gets 3 white lights. The look is good.
These gentlemen are looking good today.
501 pounds. Greg Coleman. Here comes Howard Diaz, 518. Dwayne McKeer, 524. That's on 4 and 3. Come on, Jerry, let's go.
Good lift there from Matt. Platform 1. That was a good lift on platform 2 as well. 3 white lights.
Gelato, 524, then Steve Johnson. Oh, Craig Saffron, looking to break his own American record he just set. Come on, Saffron, lift it off the floor, break your own record. Craig Saffron broke his own American record.
That's 3 white lights, platform 1. Now we're moving on to our second attempt deadlifts for platform 1. It's kind of funny how platform 1 outpaced platform 2. And platform 2 was the one that finished earlier, but now it's the other way around. Got a 2.5 kilo jump for Calvin. Meanwhile, we got a 400-pound opener for Francis on platform 2. A casual opener for Junko on platform 2. Donovan Thompson, 10 kilo jump, 192.5 kilos. In a tough battle here with Tom Dennison.
Rolling dog, please report to the scoring table at platform 1.
Beautiful, Vitaly. That's for 2 white lights. Here comes Raheem, 600 pounds. To finish on platform 3, the bar's ready. Congratulations, Leo. 3 white lights for Fish. That's 3 white lights for Christopher. Here comes Oscar. A national record attempt for Jose Gonzalez. 644 pounds. The lift is good. Oscar, 507. The lift is good. No more changes. Lift is off platform 4. Next flight. No more changes to your opener.
That's a good lift, platform 1. Got a big jump from opening attempt to second. 15 kilos for Jack Berg. that moves that with ease.
Platform 4. Come on, Mueller. 240 kilos for Mueller. 3 white lights for Robert. Wait a minute. I'm not done. 3 white lights for Mueller. Here comes Thurman on 4. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bars ready for Alexander the Great. Look at this fine looking specimen.
Paul Zhang on platform 1.
Like the statue of David.
Glenn Trost, 125 kilos. Referees say 3 white lights. Paul Zhang, 210 kilos now for his second attempt.
Bars lift is good on 4 now. Here comes Michael Harris on 4. Bars ready for McCreary.
I think that bar just started to slip out of Gary Villeneuve's hands on platform 2. I believe he did get the down command, but that bar was slipping out of his hands. I don't know if you were able to catch that.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, the referees are really looking for that lifter to demonstrate full control of the bar at the top. So sometimes if the lifter starts slipping with the bar, they won't give that down command since the lifter hasn't demonstrated full control of the bar. So it kind of works against your favor. I mean, you're holding it longer, you're losing more grip, and it just kind of lost it from there. 20-kilo jump for Joel. Gets 3 white lights, picks up 20 kilos to his total. That's a lot. Matt Muccigrosso taking a 10-kilo jump. Currently only separated by 12.5 kilos between him and Mark Tarver. Matt currently sitting in that second place position, looking to close out the kilos between him and Mark.
Come on, Johnny. Do it, Moses. Oh, the double overhead hook grip sumo pull from Johnny D'Alessio on 4. Nice lockout, Johnny. That's 3 white lights.
Now Mark Tarver looking to respond to Matt's deadlift here. 235 kilos for him.
Here comes Alex Calvin.
Again, both gentlemen successful with their first and second deadlifts. Currently, again, separated by now just 7.5 kilos.
Bar is ready on 3. Alex.
Gary Edwards, 177.5 kilos. And Calvin kicks us off on the third and final round of deadlifts for platform 1.
Got the double overhead hook grip sumo pull. Three white lights for Alex. Lincoln on 3, Amy on 4. Lincoln gets 3 white lights.
A 12.5 kilo pickup for Francis on 2.
That's 3 white lights for Amy.
James Rizbecki 197.5. I think it might get called by referees for some hitching, some blue cards you might anticipate. Yeah, it looks like it's a 2-1. Just kind of shrugging the weight up.
Yep.
It's happened to me before. I won't lie. When you just want to get that lift up and call it a gym PR, if you will, even if it's done on the platform, it counts in your heart. 200 kilos for Steve. Oleg, 210, platform 2. Now, Donovan Thompson looking to extend his lead in that first place position, putting it out of reach for Paul Zhang. However, if he misses this, that does open the door for Paul to steal that gold medal position. But it looks like Donovan Thompson will end off his day here with a 200 kilogram deadlift, 3 white lights, and a 537.5 kilo total. You still have a few more lifters in his class left to go. We'll see if anyone makes a swing for his gold medal position.
Oscar gets 3 whites. Here comes White on 4, Miller on.
Now Maxwell Mercer looking to move himself temporarily into that bronze medal position with this pull of 200 kilos, 441 pounds, platform 1. Fortunately not there on the day. However, he's still sitting in that 4th place position just outside of the podium, but still medaling here at Masters Nationals.
Alexander on 3, Robert on 4, go.
Tom Dennison looking to pull himself into that silver medal position, putting himself above Paul Zhang. And Tom Dennison does it, moves from his bronze medal position into the silver medal, knocking down Paul Zhang temporarily down 1 placement, but now it is Paul Zhang's turn to respond. On platform 1, 220 kilos loaded for him. And so if Paul is successful with this lift, he will tie Tom Dennison on total and win on body weight because Paul Zhang did weigh lighter than Tom.
This is an American record event for
Paul just didn't have it today.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a new American record.
Zol Ruzic, 182.5, breaking into the 400-pound mark on platform 2. Joel Hayes, 220, rounding out that 4th place finish in that 82.5 Masters 3 division.
Johnny Gillespie. Now, come on, Johnny. 474 for Johnny on 4. Yeah, nice knockdown, Johnny. That's 3 white lines for Johnny. Here comes Alex Calvin on platform 3.
Great save there for our spotters, catching Matt before he was able to fall there. Still a valiant effort. Gary Edwards is now on platform 2. Bit of a victory lap in the Masters 4 90 kilo division, who faced a tough battle with Stephen White. The gentleman only separated by 15 kilos amongst the two. That was a no lift for Mark Tarver, who sits just 7.5 kilos above Matt Muccigrosso for that national championship title. Now, with that, ladies and gentlemen, that concluded our deadlift session and today's lifting for Platform 1 of the Masters Nationals Day 1. However, we still have deadlifts going on the second platform, Platform 2, and our last flight. We are in the 3rd round of deadlifts with about 7 lifters left to go. Junko, 207.5. He gets 3 white lights. A grind there for Ryan Avery, unable to get it this time, but still walks away with 212.5 kilos. Now we're down to our last 3 lifters on this platform. We have Nathaniel Pennington at 230 kilos. Now we're down to our last and final lift of this session on the day. Jonathan Turk, 252.5 kilos, 556 pounds. This will put him at a 610 kilo total in the Masters 190 kilo division, 556 pounds. Wow, that's a smooth third attempt. And our referees say that is a good lift. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes all of the lifting for Platforms 1 and Platform 2 for the 2026 USA Powerlifting Masters Nationals Day 1. It was a pleasure commentating with you guys. My name is Kevin Serrano, and I was joined by
Jenna Menchofer.
And again, this is the 2026 USA Powerlifting Masters Nationals Day 1 presented by A7 here in Lombard, Illinois. We are signing out, and we will see you all tomorrow for Day 2. Thank you.